Hi everyone, welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul. Once again, we have a special guest in the Newegg TV studios. This is JJ from ASUS, and thanks for coming by today, JJ.
Thank you for having me.
And I have this fantastic idea. I wanted to run it by you guys. ASUS should build the functionality into their routers, so when you're like on the go, you know, you're on a vacation or something like that, that you can connect to your router from anywhere that has internet, like go in there and like get into your local area network at home, and you guys should do that.
Well, I got good news for you. We've already done it.
Really?
Yes. We actually have a brand new piece of software that's going to be shipping shortly on our routers that's called AI Cloud.
Ah. Can I get credit for inventing it?
We can see what we can do about maybe giving you a partial credit.
All right. Well, partial credit at least.
Sure, sure. Not a problem.
I get the vague sense that you might have a demonstration in store for us today.
I definitely do. So this is actually still going to be in beta status. This is a brand new piece of software that we've been working quite some time on, and it'll actually be launching on quite a number of our routers, including actually our brand new RTN AC66U, as well as the RTN 65U, both of which we've actually covered here. So all it will actually require from the user is to go online to support.asus.com, download the actual newest firmware for the router, and then essentially flash the router. From there, it's going to offer you a really awesome level of functionality within your unit. Like you said, the core goal of AI Cloud was to meet the usage model you described. Essentially, we wanted to be able to give you the ability to stream, share, and sync your files easily. Now, there's already a number of different kind of like cloud-based solutions out there where you have the ability to go ahead and, let's say, have some content synchronized or synced to a cloud storage device, and then be able to access that cloud storage on different devices. The main kind of advantage in this situation in terms of what we're offering is not just giving you that same level of functionality, but also allowing you to access your home PCs, which is the key thing that you noted. In many situations, take for instance for me at home, I've got 7 PCs that are connected in some form, whether we're talking about wireless connectivity or Ethernet hardline connectivity. And of course on those different systems, I might not have them, let's say, set up to like sync to some type of server. They might have different directories, like I have a media center, I might have my Ultrabook, I might have my gaming notebook, I might have my Windows Home server. I have all kinds of different permutations and configurations, different directories, different types of content, all spread out throughout those. So what we've enabled here is the ability that through our kind of network management structure that we have built into the firmware, be able to access different directories and then be able to take that content and play it back through internet-enabled connections. Whether we're talking about a local internet-enabled connection in your home, or it could be a cellular-enabled connection, or a local Wi-Fi hotspot-enabled connection.
So we're not talking about just going in and accessing, say you have a flash drive or external storage plugged into the router itself. We're talking about actually getting access to all of the computers, all the content you have saved on your local area network at home. Yeah,
and then being able to do some pretty cool stuff with that. Definitely I think that even just the functionality of having access to a USB-enabled disk from across multiple systems is cool in itself, but here we're looking to kind of grow to another level of functionality. So I say let's first and foremost take a look at the interface, how simple it is to actually enable AI Cloud, and then let's actually look at how AI Cloud works.
All right, we got a demo going up here. JJ's just using his laptop right now. He's connected to our network here at Newegg TV Studios, and are you going to be connecting to your network at home?
Yes, but first I've essentially gone ahead and already flashed our RTN AC66U with our beta firmware, okay, which does have the AI Cloud functionality. So if we just switch over to this tab, we can see that we have our really nice WRT firmware interface, and one of the options right here says AI Cloud. And we have 3 different options. One is Cloud Disk, one is Smart Access, and another one is Smart Sync. With Cloud Disk, this is a really nice option where we can go ahead and take the USB attached storage functionality. Oh, sorry, I didn't have the router connected there, but the USB attached functionality, which would normally give you access to your USB-enabled device, and you would have different options like enabling DLNA media server or iTunes media server across your network, but here we're extending that out to now make this a universally available disk, which would actually have its own website address, which we would go ahead and actually enable for you through a DNS service where you could go ahead and name it, and we'll show you where, like mine's actually enabled and has its own specific name. Now, secondary to that, we also then have Smart Access, which allows us to have some additional functionality of getting access to network places across different computers on our network and being able to take advantage of going into those directories. In addition, it offers some really cool functionality in that if your systems are in some type of S state, so like sleep or hibernation, assuming that Wake on LAN is enabled on those systems, we can still actually even wake up those systems to turn them on to be able to access that content as well. So it gives us some additional functionality. And then lastly, we have Smart Sync, which while we're planning to work with different types of cloud-based storage services, such as, let's say, like SkyDrive or Dropbox, initially, we'll be launching with support for our ASUS web storage service. So if the user is synchronizing content through this, it will actually automatically go back and resync to our cloud disk, which is the USB attached disk on the router, and make that available to all those systems across the network.
Very nice.
So from here, you can see it's just a simple process of just turning it off or on, right? Very basic. So from here, we're now actually going to go ahead and assume that we've gone ahead and set things up. So I go ahead and go to the web address. I would type in my actual address that's unique to me that I can go ahead and create a name for. You can see mine. It's actually called Planet Krypton. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here quickly too. So give me a second. And you can see right here, it logs us into the interface. So the first thing that we see is I have my test unit at home, which is actually in the Bay Area. And I have an RTN66U loaded with the AI Cloud beta firmware. Now, if I go ahead and click on this, this will actually take me to the 180 gigabyte disk that I have connected as my test drive for purposes here. But you can actually also see that I have a notebook at home, which is connected wirelessly, and then I have my Media Center PC as well that's also accessible. So the great thing about this is, of course, is neither one of those are USB attached to the router. Those are just part of my local network, and I'm able to go ahead and access content from there. So first off the bat, if let's say we go ahead and go to the RTN66, we can go into the drive. We can see that we have all these directories in a really just kind of nice, easy, accessible format. And I could go ahead and have access to look at the different type of content that I have available here. So take, for instance, if we want to take a look at some pictures, we could go ahead and click in here. Click on the pictures, and I could start viewing them. There's a built-in slideshow inside of here, so that's a really nice level of functionality. So you can immediately take advantage of taking a look at that content right off the bat. Now, if you wanted to do things with this content, you could go ahead and use the select button, and then I could go ahead and maybe select a couple of these, and I can then have the option of, let's say, downloading them directly to my system. So I can go ahead and just click on the download button. I could delete the files, or I could even share the files, where if I click share, it goes ahead and creates for me these unique web addresses. I can go ahead and apply them, which would copy them for me, open up my email client, and send them off to somebody, and they could right off the bat go ahead and access to those photos. And we tried this out earlier, and how did it work out for you?
It worked out great. You sent me a very nice picture. And I also noticed that those links are active for 24 hours. Is that just by default? Is that something you can
That's
modify?
actually for more so for legality purposes in terms of what we enable in terms of the cutoff period for the storage links. So in the event that you didn't access that link at that period of time, it would auto essentially delete itself, and you would need to go ahead and recreate a new link to send out to somebody.
Okay.
So from there, of course, we can access different types of content as well, such as music. So if we go ahead, go in here into this music directory, you can see right here that we have the different folders available to us, and we could go ahead and click on a media file, and it would start actually playing your media file for you. Pretty straightforward, where you could also see, of course, your playlists available to you. And we'll continually be working on refining and adding more flexibility to the actual playlist manager, where eventually we're hoping to be able to aggregate the ability to create playlists across multiple systems on that network, whereas right now we're just playing the playlist locally from within that folder and directory. Okay, so as you see, we finished accessing a whole bunch of content there from the N66U, so we're going to switch over to the B-Series unit. And you were asking me a little bit earlier about some information on the EA N66 wireless adapter. So I've actually got some documentation on here, so I can go to my directory for it. Go into my documents folder, and you can see right here they come up with actually nice icons to represent actually the different type of file formats that you would normally have. And we have it auto set up so that, let's say maybe you're opening it on a system where you don't have some type of actually, let's say, Office client to be able to open this up natively. It can open up directly through Google Docs through the web. So it makes the process very straightforward. So if I go ahead and, let's say, click on this review guide right here, it'll open up the file right off the bat, and I can view it directly there. Or as you know, we showed before, you still definitely have the option of being able to, let's say, download the file, rename it, share it, be able to do different things with it. So right here, we can see that it's gone ahead and finished loading it up, and I have access to my document all in real time. And the great thing about that is you can, of course, have that flexibility of having essentially this content available to you onto any platform, because this is a web-enabled service. So whether you're on a notebook, whether you're on a tablet, whether you're on a smartphone, you have this available to you. Now, we'll be showing in a little bit what it might look like on a smartphone, where we have an actual application that allows you to work with our actual AI cloud services a little bit more easily, but very easy in terms of sharing. And as I noted here, of course, you can just click the select button and have those similar level of options. Now, lastly, we have our Media Center PC, which we also have on this system. And the media center PC is actually on an Ethernet connection. So we can go ahead and click in here. We can go to our plugin directory. And I actually recorded Austin City Limits, which is a great actually concert series that they show on PBS. I'm really a big fan of it. And if, let's say, you wanted to go ahead and maybe download this to a secondary system, you know, I could go ahead and click on it and give me the option. I can go ahead and download it on that other system I'm looking for. Have a lot of flexibility that I could go. Or, of course, you know, I could go here into my video files. Maybe there's a, you know, a video that I'm looking to play back. I could go ahead and maybe, you know, just natively play it back. And this is only limited to the actual video player that you have installed in the system. By default, we have a VLC that we will auto embed here and recommend that you go ahead and open up and play back. You can go ahead and full screen it. It's a very straightforward and simple process. In terms of the bitrate, you know, we've tested this up to full 2K video file resolutions, 1080p video files. It's really dependent on just the internet connectivity that you have available to you, whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's a cellular service, whether it's a hardline connection. Whatever the speed is going to be is going to kind of be a dictator at the level of bitrate that you're going to be able to support, whether we're talking video or whether we're talking audio in either kind of situation.
Now, this is a web-based interface to access AI Cloud, and you mentioned there's also apps available for Android and for iOS. Is there also a Windows app?
Well, in terms of a Windows app, it's natively web-centric, so you wouldn't require an application in that regard. You would just essentially just go straight to the URL and be able to dial into it. But with that, let's maybe take a look at the Android application.
Okay.
Okay, so here you can see I've got my Motorola Bionic, a smartphone. We've gone ahead and loaded up the APK, so the AI Cloud software. Like I said, right now it's not available in the Play Store. It will be soon because right now we're still in beta stage. But from here, all I've got to do is go ahead and click on the application. It will launch the AI Cloud interface, and I can go ahead and see immediately my AC66U, which I've gone ahead and nicknamed for my RTN N66U because I was also testing with that. But you can go ahead and nickname the router. The reason being is that because you could have multiple routers within the AI Cloud system. So let's say I had one router set up at home and another router set up at work, each with their own network systems attached to it, or USB attached storage systems. I could dynamically go right here to my router list and pick whichever routers I have under AI Cloud and be able to make it really easy and accessible to go ahead and access those systems or those storage devices that are attached to each one of those routers. In addition, we also have a favorite option where you can go ahead and favorite any single folder or directory that you have at any on any system or attached to any USB attached storage device, so that if I conveniently just want to go maybe to my music folder or to my pictures folder, bam, I can just go ahead and have that directly available under my favorites. But to kind of show you that process, once again, here we're essentially just going to go through and go to the RTN66U, which is the USB attached storage. I can go ahead and click onto the drive. It will refresh all the different directories here. Of course, where we have photos, we have files. We could go ahead and go right here into the video files that we have available. And you can see I've got tons of different types of video files available to me. I'm on my 4G connectivity, so I'm not even on the local enabled Wi-Fi that we were on my notebook, which I was using to have access to my PC at home. And you can see it's even actually refreshing for me the icons for the different types of trailers and content that I have right here. So let's go ahead and just click on one of these files. You can see right there it gives you the option to play back the file format. So once again, that's only restricted to the file player that you're using on your phone, whether it's hardware accelerated or software accelerated, or supporting the different formats that you might have stored on those different systems. And then of course the responsiveness in terms of the performance will be slightly limited on your USB attached storage. If maybe you have a slower mechanical hard drive or a faster mechanical hard drive, could be of course one consideration, but predominantly it's predominantly going to be based off of the bitrate source material. So you can see this is actually a 1080p video file that we've gone ahead and downloaded, which we're streaming off the system with no problems, and we could do the same type of content with, let's say, a music file if I wanted to, or I could go ahead and go to the music and do the same exact thing. So a really nice level of functionality and flexibility enabled here, you also still have all the sharing functionality that we talked about before. So if I went ahead and clicked on one of these files, for example, I can go here to the share function, and down here you have email, you have SMS, or you have your different share level functionality. So I can go ahead and click on this and create a direct share link as well. So a lot of different functionality that's available to you within the AI Cloud application that will be available for both Android and iOS based devices.
Well, thank you for that demonstration, JJ, and just wanted to point out the RTAC66U, which is already released, as well as the RTN65U, will all have that available, the AI cloud software available with just a firmware update.
That's correct.
A couple more units also going to have it available?
Yes, our RTN66U, and then also our RTN16. All those units will support the AI cloud software.
All right, so if you guys have those routers, make sure you get the firmware update in order to enable AI cloud for streaming, syncing, and sharing of all your datas. And JJ, thanks again for stopping by today and sharing all this information with us.
And thank you for having me.
And if you guys want to see more Newegg videos, you can see youtube.com/Newegg for our videos. You can check out youtube.com/ASUSROG for more of JJ's videos. Thanks a lot for watching today's video, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Newegg TV.